we were wrong. We were all hideously wrong. Like, wrong, but also kind of right in a way. Sean Strickland.
I'm looking forward to that, Joe. That's going to be a stretch trying to claim some sort of victory here.
Oh no! There is a moderate victory in there for me, but we will get to it in our review as Sean Strickland defeats Israel Adesanya 49-46 on all three judges' scorecards to become the middleweight champion, despite everything everyone said. He managed to do it. He is the middleweight champion of the world. And Tom, I'm just going to ask you a very simple question. Can you describe Sean Strickland's performance in this fight for me?
Do I get an unlimited number of words?
Give me, if you can do it in one word, that'd be ideal. But make it as short as possible.
Okay, I would say that it was a classic Sean Strickland performance with very similar to what we've seen from him in the past. You know, he stayed in range with Izzy. He didn't let up. He applied constant pressure. He countered everything that Izzy threw. He bit down on the mouthpiece where necessary, and he marched forward. Nothing surprised me about Sean Strickland, other than his ability to find Izzy at will, which, as the rounds went on, became very apparent that it almost started to look like a mismatch, Joe. Yeah,
it was very odd watching it. The word that came into my mind was twitchy. It was a very twitchy performance from Strickland, but in design.
That's a staple of the Sean Strickland
absolutely.
Fighting style.
Absolutely. And I felt like that was going to be part of his downfall until we actually started watching this fight where, I mean, we'll go into like the finer details of it in a moment, but I still just want to think about the big picture of this, which is there was like no doubt in this matchup. Do you know what I mean? In the result, like it was what we want, which was a clear, defined winner, and he didn't get screwed over. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't even like, you know, when Aljamain fought Cejudo earlier this year and people were making arguments that Cejudo maybe won, or when Whittaker fought Adesanya last year, it's like maybe Whittaker won that. There was no bullshit about this fight. Strickland won. There was no clear way that you could make an argument for Adesanya. And I was just absolutely gobsmacked, really. I was truly gobsmacked. Yeah, and the fight looked exactly how I thought it would look.
It very much did, but with Adesanya kind of having the moments that Strickland had. You know, I expected a comprehensive, comfortable, kind of 60%, 40% victory for Adesanya, where he very clearly won, 3 or 4 rounds. And I mean, we're out there on record, Joe. Our perspective is well announced. We didn't envisage or discuss this possibility. I did throw it over to you that perhaps Sean can stay there in that space, make Adesanya uncomfortable, and I think that was a big part of the result that we saw in the end. But there were a few things that we certainly didn't expect. So let's get into it now, Joe. Let's start with round 1. Because for me, the first 4 minutes or so of that round went very much as I expected the rest of the fight to go. So Adesanya's sticking and moving, working Strickland's lower body, getting away from Strickland's strikes for the most part, just doing enough to kind of outpoint him, not taking too many risks, and Strickland not really finding much of a home for his strikes.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what was the thing that got me in this, and it took my second watch of the fight to catch this, was that immediately Strickland started doing the thing that people told him not to do, which was biting on the feints. He's biting on every feint. He's biting on every feint. And as I was watching it, I'm like, well, hold on, that's what Jan Blachowicz did. And Jan Blachowicz beat Adesanya, admittedly through wrestling, which something that Strickland never did in this fight. But do you know what really actually surprised me about this fight was the amount of feints that Adesanya was biting on. Did you notice what Strickland implemented in that first round that didn't work in the second, but then started to work in rounds 3, 4, and 5 again. He kept lifting his rear leg to feint that he was going to throw a kick up the middle from his rear leg, which is something I talked about in the preview of like, maybe he'll throw something up the middle from the rear leg, right? And he just kept feinting it, and Adesanya kept conceding ground up to the fence from that feint of Strickland. So Strickland, you know, you can say like, oh, he's twitchy and flapping his hands and whatnot, but Adesanya is just as guilty of that. And if you've got two fighters biting on each other's feints, doesn't that in a sense cancel each other out in a way, Tom?
Yes. Of course it does. I mean, the thing is though,
yeah,
should you be biting on Sean Strickland leg, his leg twitching?
Well, in a way, yes, but also no. I don't know. Like, do you know what it was? It was like, there was also the other thing as well. It's just like Adesanya throughout the fight just conceded the ground up to the fence and kept pushing back up against the fence. And people were thinking like, oh, you know, like the Paulo Costa fight, and he can angle off from either side, right? What happened on this fight was that he conceded ground much further back than he did against Costa. He was never that far back up against the fence as he was against Costa.
I'm sorry, that's Sean Strickland, Joe.
That's what I'm saying.
Relentless pressure.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Adesanya approached the fight in a different way. I think Sean stayed in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving Strickland the credit for, was that he pushed him further back.
He was always going to. Always going to.
Absolutely. And
so Adesanya was flawed, really, in his response.
And he squeezed Adesanya into exiting to his left. Adesanya exited mostly to the left. If you watch the fight, they're mostly moving to Adesanya's left most of the fight. Adesanya at points tried to go right, but Strickland never let him go there because he sort of threw the jab out there, kept him going back the other way. So he constantly had him moving into the right hand, which is what we saw, is what you're referencing at the end of the first round, when the best strike of the fight, where Strickland threw the jab out there, pulled the hand out the way, and down comes the right hand, drops Adesanya for the first time in his career in the UFC.
Wow.
And then starts unloading on him in a way...
Yeah, it was... Yeah,
Strickland
went after him. He went after him, Joe. He wanted him out of there. Let's just take a moment to say it. There are refs, there are fights that have been stopped for less than that.
Would you say a title fight like that? I don't think so.
Oh, I think if we went through the annals, I think there are examples of that.
Cruz Cejudo is the one Dominic Cruz is screaming into his into the void, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah. Big Keith.
Yeah, I think there have been a few moments like that. Now, I'm not up for any moment saying that it should have been stopped. I never felt like that at any point. But Strickland was pouring it on. He was, unleashing, of course, Adesanya blocking most of it. And Strickland did well to recognise, okay, this is not the moment. Back off. Pereira got caught in this exact position doing this exact procedure. That's basically where Adesanya knocked out Pereira. So credit to Strickland for kind of backing off before the end of the round there. Comprehensively won the round, certainly a 10-9, no dispute. And then back to what we expected the fight to be in the second.
Can I also credit Strickland doing something else in that first round that limited Adesanya? Was the kick that he caught as well. He caught that very early in the fight to show that, Adesanya, you may be fresh right now, but I can still grab your leg from these kicks at any point. That's another discouraging thing for Adesanya. It's just is that going to put him into a compromised position? Because, Strickland could catch that kick and maybe he could tree-top him from there. That's a good way of taking a tool away.
A more general note on that point is that I think what really inhibited Adesanya here and ultimately led to his downfall, his dethroning, was that Strickland didn't let him have anything for 3.
No.
He let him have nothing. He got off absolutely nothing without something being fired back at him.
Yeah.
And I think that made Adesanya very tentative as the fight wore on. And, I don't know if we need to go round by round, because really, after the second round, Strickland just started to pull away. It
Yeah.
started to really look like a mismatch, Joe. I
Yeah.
just can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, let's talk about the second round, and then we'll combine 3, 4, and 5 together. Round 2, Adesanya won that round. Yes, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And what he did was he threw right straights to the body. Like, he was throwing some right straights to the body. He was actually pumping the jab out there a bit more, landing it a lot more. He obviously changed the game plan a bit. Now, hold on, Tom, you're pulling some face here, but we have to give Adesanya credit for moderately changing his game plan in that round, winning that round, I think, fairly, and then for some bizarre reason, going back to the game plan of the first round, skirt along the fence. His coach said to him, skirt along the fence, throw the right hand. And from rounds 3, 4, 5 onwards, Adesanya's shots were really loopy. Long, loopy, wild shots. Didn't stick the jab. He didn't give himself a foundation to work from. He was just looking for this big right hand.
You, I gotta jump in. I can't wait anymore. I didn't see it like that.
What did you
see it like that. I don't know if I thought that was a fantastic round for Adesanya. I thought the Strickland kind of took it off a little bit.
Hold on. I wouldn't describe it as fantastic. I would say it's a clear Adesanya round. I think he made some good adjustments.
But what we
and I
saw, for me, what we saw, we didn't see Adesanya having success. You know, he still had a very, very poor ratio of landing. His accuracy just wasn't there. At no point in this fight could Israel Adesanya, supposedly one of the best strikers we've ever seen in the UFC, land a head strike on Sean Strickland. At no point. We did not see that in that second round. You're right. He got enough after the body. He did work a couple of kicks and then back out, stuck his points, got the round. But the fundamental issues were not corrected. The issue was that he just couldn't find Strickland. And that awkward style of Strickland's was too much for him.
Yeah,
it was too much. And he got frustrated to a point where when he did trade with Strickland, when he did take those chances, he just started getting lit up, Joe. He got rocked by straight shots down the middle and was not able to get anything back on Sean.
I would say that Strickland had some really, really strong moments in rounds 3, 4, and 5. You know, to confirm rounds for him. Like, he landed some really good flurries in there. I think it was in round 4 where he basically landed the same combo that he dropped Adesanya with in the first, but obviously he didn't knock him down that time. And he just stayed neat and tidy, didn't do anything crazy, just pumped out the 1-2, feinted the rear leg kick, and then round 3, he actually used, when he would throw out the rear leg kick once Adesanya stopped biting on the feint, and actually used it as like a push kick. Like, he used the push kick to get him back up against the fence from there. And it was just really subtle, slow build adjustments from Strickland that I think Adesanya then just was like, right, I know what I need to do. I'm going to work along the fence. I'm going to counter him and go from there. And just Strickland gave him nothing to counter. Nothing to counter. Always in and out at the end of his range, mostly out. Jabbed him up against the fence. Excellent from Strickland there to control him there. And also, I don't know, I just felt that Adesanya fell into these weird habits. That
I think he broke him, Joe. I think he absolutely broke Adesanya through this fight.
You think so?
Adesanya was done. He was not coming out there in the 5th round to stop Sean Strickland.
4 and 5, he was just not there.
He was gone, Joe. He was absolutely gone. Now, actually, a quick note on the 3rd round. I've got to say, first viewing, a very close round for me.
Yeah. I agree.
Very close round. I could see the commentary team, they've favoured Strickland. He did have the bigger impacts.
I favour Strickland in that.
Adesanya had a bit more activity. I thought it was out there. It wasn't clear to me that it was definitely 3-1 going into the 5th round. Even though I was watching Sean pull away from Israel, there was a part of me that said, hold on, this could still be 2 apiece. This is the deciding round. Let's see what the champ is made of. And
just wasn't there.
He absolutely wasn't there, Joe. Rounds 4 and 5, you got Strickland landing at a 60% clip in round 4 and then 50% in round 5, doubling Adesanya up for strikes. Adesanya continuing with very, very poor striking accuracy. In the whole fight, Joe, Adesanya is credited with just 22 strikes that landed in any way to Sean Strickland's head.
Yeah, what was it? Landed by target 23% to Adesanya, 40% to the body, 36% to the legs. Whereas Strickland's typical headhunter. Typical headhunter, 62% for Strickland to the head, 32% to the body, 5% to the leg. Hilarious that Strickland, I think he threw 7 leg kicks through the whole fight, and that's how it... Like, when I think of like ways to defeat Adesanya, I always thought if Adesanya exits to his left, throw a kick to his right leg, you know, so as it's like pulling across, like... And he just didn't do it. He didn't need to do it. Like, I was just... Like, everything about it, I was just like, well, you can't... He's not going to beat him with just a 1-2. And then he beats him with a 1-2. Like, it was just relentless. But the other thing is with Strickland is that, like, he didn't even have to cut off the cage. He didn't cut him off at any stage. He just followed him. He didn't give him any respite. He just like, I'll keep following you.
We made this point in our preview.
Yeah.
We really did. We emphasised the fact that Sean will be there. The thing that was missing...
Yeah.
That was missing from what we had assumed going into the fight was that Israel would be able to land on him.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't do it. He could not get any shots off. Sean was there to be countered. Sean was there to have work done to him. Sean had moments like he did against Pereira. He did have those moments in between strikes, like in a horrible position.
Oh my lord!
Stop and pause the frame. Yeah, crossing his feet as you mentioned in the preview.
Yeah.
But is he like that little roll of Sean's shoulders, a little bit of tuck in the head, and Israel, that was too much for him. He was flummoxed. I mean, unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Where were you when Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya with a 1-2? Comprehensively, 49-46. Should we even have a rematch?
No rematch. No, wait. The talk of rematch is nonsense, and we'll go into the nonsense of that a bit more. But I just want to stay on the fight just for a moment, where Adesanya in his corner, you know, he said going into the 5th round, he's like, I can't find my jab. And his coach is just like, he's like, you got to keep working on the right, keep aiming with the right. And I'm just like, you got to give him something else in there. And a part of me thought when I was watching it, because I had the results spoiled for me. I spoiled it myself, to be honest, but we can go into that afterwards. And there was a part of me who was like, why didn't he wrestle and even with the failed takedown be in a clinch exchange? Do you know what I mean? And like throw elbows from clinches from there. It was just, there wasn't any progression of his game plan. And to be honest, even though he progressed his game plan only a little bit, Strickland actually in this fight showed more changes and progressions through his game plan in this fight than Adesanya. I actually can't find myself believing that, considering all Strickland did was 1-2, follow him, feint the rear leg kick, and then throw the thrust kick.
I mean, for me, I understand what you're saying, but really, I wouldn't call it an evolution that I saw in Sean here. I would say that he got so confident that he was ready to bite down on his shots and put something behind them, you know, because he was so confident in his defense because of what Israel was offering back. That created the platform for Sean to actually go and be the man that you've been so frustrated at him for not being, you know, and he put the work on Adesanya. He heard him. He landed.
Hold on. This was still a Sean Strickland performance where I'm watching it and this guy's like, I'm so crazy, I'm so wild, and then he's throwing kind of pitter-patter 1-2s.
You said it yourself. He knocked down Israel Adesanya for the first time in his career. Knockdown that Israel recovered from.
Hey.
And by the end, Israel was beat up, Joe. But how many 1-2s down the pipe with something on them hurt and stumbled Izzy? It was a constant theme. That's what won him at that third round.
I don't know about a constant theme. I'm not.
Rounds 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't like it was. No, I mean it was.
He didn't.
It was winning. It was winning shots.
Cannonier like that.
Who? Strickland.
Sean, when he fought Cannonier, did he?
No. Well, Cannonier outclassed him and won all 5 rounds.
Oh, Joe, look, you've been called out. You've been put right in your place.
No, I have not.
By that young fella on the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull up the?
Yeah, go for it. I don't mind. I mean, you know.
Now I know you've been humbled to hear. There are some profanities, but whoever the individual of diminished capacity is, that gave Cannonier all 5 rounds. Please do not ever talk about MMA again. I shut off the video and will no longer watch a single video from this channel due to the hilarious ignorance and lack of educated opinion. Go take some jiu-jitsu classes and have a boxing match, you profanity scrub.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously got that Cannonier fight wrong.
I didn't get it wrong because Cannonier won.
Because
Cannonier
of
won.
Sean's lack of end product, right? Because you didn't see Cannonier wearing it. You didn't see Sean taking those risks and really bite down on his shots.
Quantity of shots doesn't equal quality of shots. You know, we went through that fight very briefly on the last pod, and Strickland, over the course of 25 minutes, outstruck Cannonier, was it by 13 shots? Which, over the course of, 5 rounds, isn't a huge hell of a lot. Yeah. Not enough where you could, clearly say that he outstruck him just from the eye. And then if we're talking about the quality of shot, Cannonier had greater output in that regard. And that's what we judge on. We judge on damage, and if someone lands more damaging shots, that's fine. And that's what we saw in this fight, where Adesanya was outstruck numbers-wise and quality-wise by Strickland. Fantastic.
Yeah, and part of that was that Sean, he let his hands go a bit in a way that he...
Yeah, that was the thing, is that Strickland actually threw 3 to 5 shot combos at points, whereas Adesanya's only success in the fight, he threw multiple shot combos, but then Strickland was in there with him throwing multiple shot combos as well, trying to counter him. So it was just odd. We watched that Pereira fight from earlier this year where Adesanya came out and he had an intensity to him where I'm going to finish this guy. I need to end this. I need to end this guy in this fight. And I thought, he's going to come out here and he's got this, he's climbed, well, not climbed, he's overcome a part of a mountain stage of the Tour de France, but he's still got a massive mountain to go, But he's finished Pereira, he's going to come out here, he needs to finish Strickland to, assert his dominance further at middleweight. And it just was never on the cards. He just never threw a 3-4 shot combo with confidence. It was question mark kick flicking out there, jab, did the sticky jab, where he throws the jab, sticks in your face, and then throws the right hand behind it. Did that in the second round quite well, and then never did it again. Odd performance from Adesanya.